Welcome to the Chewn podcast, where real topics are discussed by fake individuals with fake opinions. Even if it's the host or the guest, don't take them seriously. And if you do get offended, guess what? Shit happens. Leave it below in the comment section. Let's roll. Bow, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another Chewing the Fat podcast, and we getting into some legal shit today. I got Janie Justice, my brother Dan DeVille. I'm Jay for real.
Slamming the gavel.
All the way down. That's what she's here for. So, Janie Justice, please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, everyone. My name is Attorney Janie Hawkins, also known as Janie Justice. I am a criminal defense attorney here in Metro Atlanta.
Did you have to think about kind of like what you wanted them motherfuckers to call you? Like, you kind of didn't know where you wanted to go with that shit, huh? Like a person who get a doctorate, they'd be like, call me Dr. Williams.
Right,
See, I never really cared about all the labels and stuff. It's
Okay.
really just Janie, but,
There we go. You about to work.
Okay, for the people.
For the
For
nation.
the people. For the nation.
For the nation.
All right, so
Pleased
what we
to
got
have you,
today,
sister. Please.
We
Thank
got
you.
a professional on board with us today that is going to give us a perspective from a legal standpoint versus me and Dan. We know we just kind of go off on a tangent on how the fuck we feel things should be ran. Janie is going to give us this is by the law, what you can, what you can't. And after each topic, we're going to ask her, is this for the citizens or this is for the cops? Basically, the citizens win this one or the cops win this one. Hopefully, the cops don't win to some degree, but good cops, y'all always win. But sometimes y'all don't win because y'all don't call out the bullshit, so you're still losing. But we're going to get into that, and we got 3 topics, so we're going to let Janie has not even seen, at least from us, the video clips. So we're going to play these video clips for her for the first time, and then we're going to walk through them and find out who went wrong, where it went wrong, and what you should do so your ass don't get banged up. That's really what we're here to do. So
Information for the nation.
Information for the nation. Are you ready for Janie Justice? You ready?
I'm a little nervous, but
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous.
Just another day in the courtroom.
Just another day in the courtroom. Right. So we got the first clip coming up right now, and we're going to play this right here. Properties, tags, and getting arrested. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi. What'd I do?
You know your tags are expired?
Expired?
Yeah.
In July.
Today's July 31st.
Uh-huh. July.
It's expired.
What do you mean?
Hello. Go back inside for me.
This is my mother.
I understand, but this is my traffic stop, so go back inside. Go inside of the house, or I will take you from your kids and take you to jail. Go inside of the house.
For what? For coming outside of my house? Do not.
You're under arrest.
Leave her alone! Leave her alone!
To be arrested too.
Leave her
All
alone!
right, people. So listen, we're going to walk through this. All right. First thing I got to ask Janie is this. The tag renewal situation. Now, he said her tag's expired. It's July 31st. What is the real parameters of this? Are you all good the month of, and then after that month, you're expired, or is it actually your birth date when your shit really expires?
Well,
so let's say it was your birthday's the 5th, but it's in July.
So every state is different.
Okay.
I will talk about Georgia because that's where I practice. So your tags are dead on your birthday. So my birthday is July 15th. So I had to get my tags renewed before July 15th. So on July 16th, my tags have now expired. So I am wrong if I have not renewed my tags.
Ooh, I've been riding dirty for a
Dan
long
DeVille,
time.
I knew
I've
your
been riding
fucking ass
dirty
was
for a
right
long time.
there. I knew your ass was right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Attorney, thank you, attorney. Thank you, attorney. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hell yeah, because the general practice is people actually do, even in the state of Georgia, since that's where
Right
we
to
are.
the
that's
end of
where
the month.
Right, I'm good all month, but Janie just bust us over the head with some real legal knowledge that your ass is expired on your birth date.
Yes,
You just saved the nation some paper. Thank you.
Our tags expire on our birthday, and you have to get them renewed. And I will say, at least in Georgia, all traffic offenses really are arrestable offenses, but officers have discretion.
shit.
They don't have to take you into custody, but it's an officer discretion type of thing. But traffic violations are arrestable offenses.
Hold up. Wait a minute. So that shit
Enlighten
right
us.
there, that shit right there would be an arrestable offense on your tags being expired?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you a little gray area. So let's say you renewed your tags online, got your receipt, didn't put the tag on the plate, you get pulled over. Where's that put you?
Your tags have been renewed.
Oh,
Now,
shit.
Because and I got my tags renewed before my birthday. I
Okay.
probably did not put that sticker on
Right.
until July 30th, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
But when the officers were to run my tags, they would see that I actually did renew my tags. I just didn't have the sticker on
The
there.
sticker on. Okay.
And I'm not even going to say I know because I'm not sure if there is an actual citation for not having the sticker on there. I don't know, so
Okay.
I'm not going to speak to that. But I
All
know
right.
that if they run your tags, they can see your registration. So they can see that your registration
Right.
was renewed when it was supposed to be renewed.
All right. So let's walk through the next part of this. Traffic stop. This is on their property. You could tell the cop car, she's already in her driveway. Where does that stand as far as making a traffic stop on somebody's private property?
That confused me a lot as well because generally when you're on private property, there's only so much that officers can do. And I'm going to give an example. I got into an accident when I lived in my apartment. I was backing out of a parking space and an AT&T truck was driving past me, and he
Okay.
very well could have stopped because I was already halfway out of my parking spot. But I was backing up, and what would have been a improper backing ticket, the officer didn't give me a ticket because I was on private property.
Oh, shit.
So when I saw the video, I was very confused as to how the ticket actually took place on private property. That's different for me
Okay.
to see that. If she's
All
in
right.
her driveway,
Yeah.
that's a different.
That's
That's
a whole
different.
different situation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the final level of this right here is the daughter comes out, says, "That's my mother. We're on private property. We've established that." She does retreat, go back to the porch, but she starts filming the transaction between her mother and the officer. The officer gets mad and takes her into custody because she won't stop filming and go in the house. Where do you sit with that as a citizen? Where does that shit come in?
Right.
Like, what's up with that?
I think that officer had other issues. I think that you have a right to record. I know that there is some gray area in Georgia. Georgia's a two-party state as it pertains to video recording. So if you and I are in an altercation, I can't record without your permission, not video record.
Okay.
Because it requires the consent of two people. I believe that
Right.
there is an exception when it involves an officer. I think that there is an exception as to whether or not you can video record, and interaction. But as far as like audio recording, Georgia's a one-party state. So if I want to record a conversation that we're having, you don't have to know that I'm recording the conversation.
Long
Only
as you know.
I have to know that the conversation is being recorded. I think that officer, it was an ego thing with that officer. He was upset because it may be that he was doing something improper. And instead of saying that I'm doing something improper, he then takes his frustration out on the person who is now recording his improper behavior because now there is evidence of his improper behavior. And I think that was kind of like an ego trip more so. Like, I'm going to put you in custody now. And I'm sure he's going to call it obstruction of justice. But if I'm
Okay.
standing on my porch that I paid the mortgage to, which is a part of my curtilage, and I want to record or I want to, say something that is not obstructing your investigation, that doesn't fall into obstruction to me. But I see more times than not obstruction kind of just being used. You didn't follow a lawful order, so now you're obstructing justice, and essentially that's what the law says. The law says, if an officer gives an order, then if you don't follow that order, you are now not following a lawful order. But on the flip side, you can obstruct or resist an unlawful arrest.
Right.
If there is no basis, no probable cause for this arrest, you haven't committed a crime, the officer hasn't seen you committing a crime, you being unwilling to be taken into custody because you haven't committed a crime. Now that you have to be mindful because sometimes people don't know what crime they are committing. Sometimes there are
Okay.
crimes that you don't know that you are committing, but it is in fact a crime. But if you are being arrested and it's an unlawful arrest because you have not committed a crime, then you can obstruct an unlawful arrest. The issue becomes that you will likely get arrested, and then you have to fight that on the back end.
Well,
And the charges
Because
that come along with it, right?
I never encourage people to go back and forth with the police in the middle of a traffic stop, because you never know how it's gonna go.
got you.
These two young ladies, they don't know what that officer had
Oh,
dealt
one
with
lady was
earlier
old
in
as
the day.
hell, though, for real. She was
Okay,
really
well,
old.
I don't want to call the lady old as hell, but
Look like
and she
done.
probably wasn't that
Yeah.
old. She just
She
doesn't
probably
age
been on
well.
that meth. She
So-
probably had been on that
Right,
meth.
right. She had a hard life.
So the two young ladies, the two women in the video, dang, I done lost my whole train of thought.
Yeah, it's all good.
You gotta be
It's
ready
all
in this
good.
courtroom, Janie Justice. You gotta be ready.
You may have to go get arrested and then
Okay.
get me to then come and argue like, okay, this was an unlawful arrest and the officer did X, Y, and Z. But like I said, I never really encourage going back and forth with officers on the side of the road. Now, I'm not going to say that I've never gone back and forth with an officer on the side of the road, but as an attorney, it's just a little different because I can pull out code section and say, hey, the statute says this. And I've done it. I'll tell you the story. I was in law school, and Georgia does, well, when you're in school, you don't have to change your driver's license. Your license is where you are domiciled. And if you are a student, you are not necessarily domiciled in the state that you are in. So I had a Virginia driver's license, and the officer, I was in Atlanta, and the officer was telling me that I should have had my license changed over. He was asking me, questions like, how long have you been in Georgia? I've been here for a year. And, he just was going down the list of questions. Is another thing. Don't answer questions if you don't have to. But he wasn't asking investigatory questions. He was just asking kind of like some general background questions. And then he went through all of that. And then he says, well, I should give you a ticket because you've been in Georgia for, I think it's 6 months or however long it is. I can't remember exactly however long it is. But you've been here long enough where you should have changed your driver's license over. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, you asked me all of these questions, but the one question you did not ask me was if I'm in school. And his whole face was just like, and I was like, and yes, I'm in school. In fact, I'm in law school. So the code
Just finished writing a paper on this shit.
the code section says that I am not domiciled in the state of Georgia, and therefore I do not have to have a Georgia driver's license, because when I'm on summer break, I'm finna head back to Virginia. So,
Boom.
with that being said, he let me go. But
Bust
I
his
don't
damn
You are
encourage-
super valuable.
That's why I call her
You
Janie
are
Justice, man. She's a
extremely
superhero, man.
I do not
Attorney Hawkins,
encourage
we appreciate you. We
going
appreciate
back
you.
and forth with the police on the side of the road. I do not encourage
Okay.
it. You just let
Right.
it play out, and then then you get an attorney who can litigate on your behalf.
All right,
like you.
so
Yes.
yeah,
That's right.
exactly you. So by my count right now, our count is 2-1 is for the citizens. Where do you sit, Janie Justice, with this video clip, this situation? Is it for the citizens or is it for the cops?
I think it's for the citizens.
All right, we on the citizens. Yeah,
It's for
a
the
win,
citizens.
a win for the citizens.
I think
One for the nation.
I think that was handled completely, and I don't think that was handled properly.
All right, and by the way, that motherfucking asshole was sued more than a few times. So yeah, it was for the citizens.
Right on. Boom.
Hey, I didn't know if you noticed, but we really didn't we don't have no law degree. Last time I participated in my Georgia trial competition was like in high school, so we just got these pens so we can kind of be on
Yeah,
that
I
level,
just,
Janie Justice.
So
Yeah,
you're
we just
not.
got
I just been in
Yeah,
court a couple times.
Yeah, I just wore a button-up shirt because I said Janie Justice coming on. We usually
Right.
be fucking cracked out that
Yeah,
this motherfucker.
That's it.
I was like, fuck
Kick-
that.
Well, I mean, I did have court this afternoon, so I'm dressed really for court. So
Oh, see, she came dressed for court even after court. Y'all special as
That's
hell,
it.
man.
I'm really
Damn.
for the people too. Like I sweats, t-shirt, But
That's
see
it.
that?
That's
I
it.
love
The
it. I
attorney
love
of the people for the people.
For the people, Janie Justice, superhero,
Boom.
Marvel coming to a scene near you. Now this is what I got next. We got our next clip. All right, so in this next clip, I believe this is definitely gonna be some information you all want to know, because I think at some point in time, different police officers try to use tactics they shouldn't be using to try to to put themselves in a position to do things to you that they know they didn't have the right to do to begin with. So we're going to watch this video clip. Janie, Justin, we're going to break it down a few different sections and see where we go from here.
Where'd you get lunch? Burger King. You have your license on? Going to get breakfast. It's 12:50 in the afternoon. So you came all the way down to Haledon to get some breakfast?
Closest Burger King.
Yeah. Would you DoorDash it or something?
I picked it up.
Oh, you went through the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Who's like, you said that went down and went to the drive-thru. I saw you go down. You came back pretty quickly. So you were able to get down to the drive-thru that fast?
So the cop was using his questions to get probable cause of search. Now, my first thing, Janie Justice, is this. Is an officer able, and I guess able is kind of loosely used, but do you have to answer an officer's question if he asks you, where are you going today or what are you doing today? Because essentially that's kind of where it started, like, where are you going? You going to breakfast? You going to lunch? Do you have to answer those questions?
So kind of like those not investigatory, but kind of like the general background questions, they don't really spark like a Miranda warning. They're just asking, I mean, I imagine the officer's going to have to get to the point as to why he stopped him. And I guess I didn't see that in the video. I don't know what the reason for the stop was or anything like that. But if there's
the reason for the stop was he saw the car go past, but then he saw the car come back in a certain amount of time that appeared fast to him. So that he stopped him on suspicion of him doing something he didn't have no been doing. Like, why'd you go? And then all of a sudden I seen you come back the other way. So that's why he was saying, well, you went down there, but you came back pretty fast. So what'd you do, go through the drive-through? And then after that, they get into conversation. Well, the guy says there wasn't really a big line, so I was able to get in and then come out. So that's where it went. Then the cop then later said, he said breakfast, but you go back on the camera. He actually did say, I'm going to get lunch. And then he questioned, why you going to get breakfast at 12:50 when the guy actually said I was going to get lunch. So that's more context to the video.
okay.
This a little tricky. Just a lot of gray areas going on.
It's so when it comes to being questioned by law enforcement,
Okay.
there are going to be some background questions like your name, how old are you? Those are kind of considered background questions because they don't speak specifically to self-incrimination. They don't speak because essentially with the Miranda warnings, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney if you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. Those warnings are given. The whole purpose of that case, it comes from the reason why it's called the Miranda warnings is because it's I think it's Arizona v. Miranda or Miranda v. Arizona, but it comes from a case. And what that case says is that custody and interrogation compels people to talk. So when you are in custody and you are being asked a series of questions, as a person, you're going to answer those questions. And in answering those questions, you could potentially incriminate yourself.
Okay.
So Miranda is only really required when you are, one, in custody, and two, you're being interrogated. So there are some general questions, and officers are going to say it's for officer safety. It's for when an officer stops you and they say, "Hey, do you have any guns in the car?" It's not necessarily speaking to the reason why they stopped you, but there are certain questions that officers get to ask to kind of get some background knowledge of what's going on. So asking him kind of like, where are you coming from? Where are you going? For me, it would depend on the type of stop. So if this was like a DUI stop and you're asking a person, and I'm not saying that this is what I would do.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's always going to happen this way, but in a lot of my cases, when there's questions, if it's a DUI stop and you're asking my client, well, where are you going? Where are you coming from? I feel like at that point, you're getting to the crux of why you stopped my client. And therefore, you need to Mirandize them because they need to understand that anything that they say at this point could be used against them. But as far as just like background, because it doesn't sound like the officer even said, "Hey, I'm stopping you for speeding." It was kind of like a reasonable, He had a reasonable suspicion, maybe, so he can kind of like tap into that reasonable suspicion. But if he would have said, I stopped you for speeding, and then he starts saying, well, how fast were you going? Then I think that speaks directly to the crime for which you are investigating. And then there's going to be a whole argument as to whether he's in custody or not in custody. My position always is, if someone is not free to leave, they are considered to be in custody. And that's what I argue. I mean, there's case law that probably says something different, but it's a matter of arguing. For me as an attorney, I don't have a problem setting precedents. So I'm going to make the argument. It may not be a winning argument, but I'm going to make the argument, because if you are so, if you are restrained enough that you cannot move about your own free will, then you are in custody. And that's things that officers like that they like to play with that word custody and detained. Oh, you're not being arrested, you're just being detained. Well, am I free to go? Can I go?
Got you.
Yes, there is a difference. Arrested, you're in custody. You're like handcuffed and you're about to be taken on. Detained is, well, we're going to sit you here in the back seat of the car. We're trying to figure some things out. You may or may not leave here, but if you're arrested, you're likely not leaving.
So let me ask you this. Let's say they got you in the back of the car and you decide to say, like, listen, am I free to go or not? And they say no. So then at that point they say no. Do they have to validate something with you to why you cannot go, or they can just say you can't go?
Not necessarily, but that helps my argument. When the officer gets in and says, well, he or she was just detained. Nah, bro, you just told him that he wasn't free to go. So now I'm going to use the officer's words against him. You said he wasn't free to go. You kept him there. You started asking him questions. He answered your questions. He probably incriminated himself. And now I need that statement to be suppressed because you didn't do your job properly.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Dan.
Let me ask you this, attorney. Because oftentimes a situation like that, it's gonna be another charge or two behind that. Assault on a police officer, things like that they're going to say, well, you did.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be an assault on a police officer.
Dan talking about himself. He talking about himself.
Whoa, that escalated very quickly.
Well, typically...
He working on himself. He's still working on himself.
Okay.
Typically, from my experiences, that's how that goes. Would it be best...
It's an experience. One day, we're going to have to talk about your experiences.
we're going to need to. Very interesting. Would it be more beneficial for the detainee just to shut up, hit my driver license, registration, and anything other than that, you're gonna have to pull me?
It is always going to be beneficial to do that. I actually have a shirt that says, and I should have wore it, but it says, seriously, stop talking to the police.
Right.
Stop talking to the police. Right. Here's my, as long as you're abiding by their lawful commands, hey, can I have your driver license and registration? Here's my license, here's my registration. Anything else?
Where I'm going don't matter. It ain't important where I'm coming from. It ain't important where I'm going.
Anything else?
It ain't important how fast I'm going. You the one with the radar gun.
Exactly. Anything
you know what I'm saying?
Doing what it is that they're telling you to do, you're talking too much, because there are exceptions that people don't know about. So if I'm trying to suppress a statement and you just in the back just talking, just da 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 da, the law calls that a spontaneous utterance. So at this point, you talking. What you want me to do? Damn. So there's different circumstances. Like, it's hard to just talk about the law in just a general sense, because it really just depends on everybody's circumstances. Every case is going to be different. But then what people also don't know or recognize is that as an attorney, I'm not just dealing with the law. I'm dealing with the law, like the statutes. I'm dealing with cases that have come before my clients' cases. I'm also dealing with the rules of evidence. Can I get this evidence in? Can I get this evidence excluded? So I have to know all these things are working at the same time, and I have to think about all these different things, especially in trial. Because in trial, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I get this evidence in? Who can this evidence come through? Is it admissible? If it's admissible, how do I get the jury to hear this evidence? So there's a lot of different things. So statements can be suppressed. the rules of evidence say that statements can be suppressed if you meet those standards. But if someone is just sitting and yapping, the rules of evidence also say that there are, some exceptions to, certain things. Where there's a rule, there's an exception, and that's just the way life works.
Okay. Damn. All right.
Turner,
So
you're super valuable.
hey, I'm telling you, see Janie Justice in this motherfucker, man. So listen, by my count on that, shit is really fucking murky as hell. I really don't know where to stand on that. I'm always gonna be for the citizens, unless I know them dirty motherfuckers is doing something dirty. But I'm for the citizens. But where you sit on that, Attorney Janie Justice Hawkins, Esquire?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with the cop. I mean, he didn't really.
Damn, we got a
It's
fucking
really,
cop right
he
here.
asked.
God,
No,
One. We 1-1.
He was just
got
asking
him.
kind of like these general questions, like,
Okay.
hey, there was a suspicion, as to, he may have done something, he may be doing. I think officers have a right to kind of investigate these suspicions.
Okay.
But a reasonable suspicion is not enough to arrest somebody. There has to be probable cause.
All right, Janie Justice, and we're sliding down in the third. Right now, we tied up like Dan DeVille says, 1-1, one for citizens, one for damn cops, bad cops anyway. And we're gonna slide into this next video. I almost put my pen up. I felt like we lost one right there. I was like, damn, man, I'm about to put this fucking pen
Why
up,
do you
man.
feel
Shit.
like? But tell me, as a citizen,
Okay.
why do you feel like that would have been for the citizen? Like, what do you feel like, other than the fact that that man was a police officer? What made you feel like he was doing something wrong?
I felt like he was trying to build on something that he really didn't have and just kind of really poking around, hoping that he would have something fall out this dude's mouth and it would give him probable cause to do something more. But I also feel like dude didn't have to answer all the damn questions about where you going, the breakfast, the Burger King. I felt like you said, just stop
Diarrhea at the
talking.
mouth.
But I also felt like, okay, you asking, he came down, he went back, you pulled him over for some shit. It's like, damn, you ain't got shit else better to do. But I'm kind of like in the middle. I just ain't trying to see some of these cops win right now. Just saying. I'm a little biased.
I mean, I know, and I get it.
I'm biased. I ran into a lot of dickhead cops. I got good
Man.
cops in the family, but I ran into a lot of dickhead cops. So I'm kind of biased right out the gate. You feel me? I know who the hell I'm calling. I'm calling you, so you already know that.
You know, because I will say this.
Shut up.
It ain't cheap fighting them cases. It ain't cheap fighting them.
No, I am no longer a public defender. So
Right.
it's a dollar amount that gets associated with representation.
And you worth every dollar too, damn it. Hey, tell them like that. So we got this third video. We got headlights, we got rain, inclement weather, cloudy skies, clear, and we got punches in the face. So we're going to go ahead. Video. You should already know.
Lord,
My God. So here we go.
I don't even want to touch this
I
one.
did wrong. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain. Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
What the hell?
Exit the vehicle now.
What the
Exit
fuck?
the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here. What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now. All right.
No, don't.
So been through that shit.
My man had a flashback there and feel like, oh, shit. Like Ricky and Boys in the Hood. He fighting these kids right now. So,
Man,
listen.
been through that.
So Janie, first thing we're going to start with is this. All right, because this is for the tiebreaker. All right, this shit's important. First thing we're going to start with is this. Headlight situation. What mandates that you have to have headlights on or not? Okay, when it comes to this, because it seems that this was the overall reason for the traffic stop. You can see it's clearly daytime out there. Said it wasn't raining. It is overcast. Does he have to have these headlights on or not? Where does that kind of sit?
I'm gonna be honest. We talking about, like, I'm not gonna say lower level stuff, but see, I don't really do.
Got you.
I don't do traffic court.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but if it's traffic court, it's more like suspended
I
licenses.
got like 100 pounds of weed in the trunk and shit like that.
That's not, no, we
Oh,
out of
not
traffic
that?
court at that.
Right.
We not in traffic court.
Right.
You in Superior Court.
Okay.
Right.
There's different
like,
levels to this shit.
Yeah, it's levels. But like, so The headlights, honestly, I would have to look up the code section to
Okay.
see when you have to have headlights on or off. And then I know that this video took place in Florida. I believe Florida does have different laws as it relates to headlights. You know, it rains at the drop of a second in Florida, so their
Facts.
headlight
Facts.
requirements may be different.
Okay.
But honestly, I am not 100% sure when you have to have headlights on. I know, I mean, obviously when it's dark, I know that part, and then when
Right.
it's
Right.
raining, yeah. But as far as like if there's an overcast, do you have to have your headlights on? Fun fact though is that I always
Oh,
keep my headlights on. They're
fun
on
fact.
auto
Ah,
because
Okay.
that's right.
they
That's
gonna
right.
come on when it's time for them to come on.
Got you.
Right.
Ponderation for the nation right there from Janie Justice. Keep your shit on auto.
It's
So
on
when that
auto.
dial, hey, the manufacturer shit is, I don't can't do nothing about it.
At night they
Got
gonna
it.
come on. If the overcast get too dark, they gonna come on. If it's raining, when your windshield wipers come on, I think they come on.
They
Like
come
so,
on.
at that point, auto. Keep them
Okay.
on auto because there have been times where I like driving other people's cars or driving a rental car. I'm riding around with my headlights off, and I'm not knowing
Yeah.
that
Not knowing.
my headlights are on. I mean, granted, I can't really see anyway because I wear glasses, but like not but not recognizing immediately like that my headlights aren't on because I keep mine on auto.
Got you.
um so but even still, without knowing the very specific headlight law, these officers took it way too far. I do not like
Okay.
this video. I do not agree with how the outcome came. I do not like how they try to you know tarnish this man's reputation based on his
Right.
history, because his history didn't matter in that moment. What mattered is how they treated him in that moment. um Now, I I'm only going to speak to what the video shows because I think that there's other parts that the internet has already kind of circulated. The
Right.
Jacksonville Police Department has already indicated that there's more to the video that we haven't seen, whatever, blah blah blah.
Right.
But for the clip that is shown, the part that we do see, I mean, his hands are in the air. He's asking to speak to a supervisor. Breaking the window, I think, was unnecessary.
Okay.
And then reaching in and punching him and snatching him out the car, that was more than excessive force and should
Okay.
not have.
So I want to get to that next level. Request of a supervisor. He requested the supervisor, and immediately you hear the cop said, "Go, like do it." Where if you request a supervisor, what do or don't they have to do up on your request?
So that's probably like a police policy and procedure. That's not really kind of like my responsibility, like my job. So like every police officer, every police department has their standard operating and procedures manual,
SOPs.
SOP. So they probably outline the chain of command. Like if a citizen requires or requests a supervisor, then there is probably a chain of command, and there's a means to getting a supervisor out there. I don't even see where they at least even radio over to say, hey, he's requesting a supervisor.
They
I
didn't.
think that even when he requested a supervisor, they could have detained him. They could have, hey, the supervisor is coming.
Right.
In the meantime, I need you to step outside your vehicle so we can address, why I stopped you and, what we're going to do next. But there is a supervisor on the way. I think that would have been a much better way to handle it because if he was supposed to in fact have his headlights on, he has violated the law, and that's just what it is. But again, it goes back to officer discretion. Officers do not have to escalate these traffic stops to the places that they're escalating them to. It doesn't have to be this combative situation, because ultimately police officers are here to protect and serve the people. They work for the people. You
Right.
work for me, and I don't want to say that because I hate when my clients be like, "You work for me," and it's like, whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh,
Right.
whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
But ideally, the officers, they are here to protect and serve the people. So you, as an officer, are held to a higher standard. You're held to a different standard. When you're interacting with a citizen, they can be cussing you out. you are held to a higher standard because you were trained to deal with this type of interaction. You actually walked into this interaction. You decided to be a police officer. So you chose this profession. This profession didn't choose you. So people
Well.
don't people people are gonna people. They're gonna be who they are. But you as a police officer have to set a tone. You have to go, you are held to a higher standard. You have to act a certain type of way. Same as me. I'm human, and sometimes, they need to get cussed out. But I can't cuss them out because I'm held to a different standard. Even if it's not like official held to a different standard. I operate differently in my professional in my personal life because I am an attorney. And if they see attorney Hawk, I can be out and I can be Janie Hawkins, but I'm always gonna be Attorney Hawkins. Ain't she attorney? Ain't that y'all attorney right there?
Yeah,
So
turned up out there twerking up on the dance floor, dog.
So it's like police officers are hired to serve the community.
Gotcha.
And I feel like they're going into these communities, and because they can't interact with people, they turn on the people. Like the officers who have and sometimes police officers become police officers for the wrong reasons. You're becoming a police officer because you was the fat kid that was picked on all your life, and now you want to come and take some of your power back. Well, you're not going to take your power back on me. Don't come in my community doing those things. So I think that, I know that situation was handled improperly by the officers. That was excessive force. Because why was all of that necessary? Now I don't know that the internet said that his door was broke or something, or his window wouldn't roll down.
Yeah, his window wouldn't roll down.
And you still have to be very mindful. You get to reach in a car with police officers who have already shown you who they essentially are. I'm not doing too much moving in the car. I've rolled down my passenger side window because that's the window that works. And that's how we're going to interact. But those officers,
No.
No.
You ain't feeling that shit. Janie Justice ain't feeling that shit. Hey, Dan DeVille.
What's
I feel like we gonna win this one. I feel like we gonna get the chip. Janie Justice for the citizens or for the cops.
I'm for the citizens on this.
God damn, for the citizens.
Hey,
if that was my brother.
Oh, she don't play about her brother now. She don't play about
Citizens 2,
Nah.
Scumbags 1. And just for the nation, we appreciate you, Attorney Hawkins, and we know you're held to a high standard.
Right.
Those good police officers out there, we appreciate y'all that hold yourselves to a high standard. But
Definitely.
you motherfuckers
I'ma
that
call the
don't,
police.
but y'all that don't, call Attorney Hawkins after you call your cousin that's got a real low standard. He'll do anything.
Don't call your
Attorney
cousin.
Hawkins.
Don't call your cousin.
Call Attorney Hawkins after that. No, I'm just saying. I'm just joking. Disclaimer. Don't do that.
Disclaimer.
Don't do that. I'm just being mean. I'm being mean, y'all. I'm sorry.
If you would like for that innocence to stay intact, what you would do is call Attorney Janie Justice, Superhero Esquire Hawkins. Is what you would do for the nation. All right. So with that being said, we got a win for the citizens on this one. We don't know what the next one is. I think that everything Janie did was absolutely awesome. I think that this information is valuable for you all to digest and take in. But I think the best thing that you could take from this is do your fucking research and stop talking too goddamn much. I think those are the two best things that you can absolutely do. And with that being said, this is another Chewing the Fat podcast, and we about to be out this motherfucker. And Dan DeVille always says,
Case closed.
case closed. We out.
Innocent.